You get like a lot of like free lip balms and stuff from like different events and like whatever, people give those out. And so I would always just like use those. And again, my skin is just really sensitive and I am more acne prone. And so I realized I can't do that. So I have to be really intentional about like the lip balm that I'm doing. So this one's super cheap. You can get it at like CVS, Walmart, Walgreens, whatever, Amazon. And it's like $2 for one versus the expensive ones I was investing in were like $20. And I'm like, why was I paying $20 for like a lip balm? Doesn't make sense. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of She's in Sync. Today, we're going to be talking about what I pack for myself when I travel for healthy hormones, clear skin, to prevent breakouts, and just, have a great trip and not worry about those things. I am going on a vacation here soon. Actually, we're going to Glacier National Park, which I've never been to or actually even like honestly heard of until my parents, they didn't win. I keep saying like they won a trip, but my dad is retired now and he's on the board of Big Brothers Big Sisters. And they had this like silent auction situation at one of their charity dinners, and they bet on this trip for two people and they won that. And so they were like, hey, if you and Jared want to come, like we're going on this trip. So we are off to Glacier National Park in a couple of weeks. And it made me think of, oh, I should do a travel episode about this because this is something I'm recording this at the beginning of August. And I've been talking a lot with clients this past couple of months about how to keep up with supplements, how to keep up with minerals, like how to keep their hormones balanced when traveling. And so I'm surprised that I haven't even recorded something like this before. I was like, what have I been doing? So this is the perfect opportunity because I'm already starting to think about this. So all the links to the products I'm going to be recommending are in the show notes. I actually created a little roundup of my favorite products for you guys. So this is going to be under the travel section, or like travel essentials is what I think I named it. So this is something where you can go and easily access these things that I'm going to be talking about if you want to get any of these for your next trip or honestly just in general. So you can do that. And without further ado, before I dive in, I had a meeting with my podcast editor and she highly suggested, I feel like a broken record sometimes, but she's like, you need to keep telling people to do this because how often are people listening to podcasts and not subscribing or, rating, reviewing and stuff like that. So if you've been a loyal listener or if you're listening to this episode where you've listened to a couple episodes and it resonates with you, please, I would so appreciate it if you could take like 2 minutes of your time to on Apple or YouTube, leave a review, or on YouTube, I guess it's a comment, and subscribe. And then on Spotify, just like leaving a star, or you can leave a comment, like whatever. But it really does help grow the show. And also if you subscribe, you never miss an episode. It's like, how annoying is it to like look through, be like, oh, I want to listen to She's in Sync versus just subscribing and you'll be notified when a new episode comes out. So just a little plug. If this is something that you're open to doing for me, I would really appreciate it. I just got a lovely review for the first time in a while and it absolutely made my day. So it is so helpful if this podcast has been beneficial for you or if you found me on the podcast. Okay, so now let's dive into my faves for traveling. And as always, I take a very moderation approach to everything. So you're going to see that with what I'm talking about of like, it's a small snippet of your life. And so you don't need to be overly like packing a bunch of things or perfect with things, like eating the same way. Things are going to look different. And that being said, you can do a lot of things to help balance your hormones, keep your hormones balanced, symptoms at bay while you're traveling. And it's also normal for like you're going to be out of your routine. So if let's say like a couple pimples pop up or something like that when you're traveling, like that's okay. Like don't freak out. it is what it is. And once you get back into normal routine, it's going to go away. It's going to normalize. So I just want to say that because that's been a big thing for me lately, just in my own hormone healing journey and also in coaching women, is like not chasing perfection, right? I talk about this in an episode I did a couple weeks ago with the health anxiety piece of like just try like not being perfect. Like our health is, it's always, our bodies are communicating. So don't freak out if things aren't perfect on vacation, and like don't over stress, like enjoy yourself. That's the biggest thing I want you to go take away with this. And so I'm going to be giving you like really strategic, really simple things that you can incorporate to feel your best and enjoy your time there. So the first thing I have is, of course, food, because I am a dietitian at heart, right? And by training. So I always, always, always pack snacks. And this is something I've been talking with clients about. That's my first thing. I'm like, okay, before we talk about anything else, like pack snacks. Okay. Even if you don't think you're going to need them, you're like, oh, I'll get something at the airport. Oh, I will, when we land, we'll go to the grocery store. Just pack something, because you never know. What if your flight gets delayed? What if they don't have, like what if you're rushed and you don't have time to get something at the airport? What if anything there is like, you're like, oh, like none of that sounds good, or I don't want to pay that amount to have that. Or you land and you don't have time, or you lose motivation after your long flight or whatever, long drive. So always pack more food than what you think you'll need, because also if you're traveling with someone, they might see you have snacks and they'll be like, ooh, I want some. So I used to pack snacks for Jared too. And now I just remind him of like, hey, take some of your bars, because we like kind of different bars. But those are my go-tos, because bars are super easy, travel friendly. There's so many of them out there. So when I'm looking for a balanced bar to take with me, I'm looking for something that has carbs, proteins, and fats ideally. So not something that's just a chewy granola bar, not something that is just like protein, something that has a balance of carb, protein, and fat. And so my favorites are, I really like Kind bars. So there's a couple different kinds. There's like a couple different kinds. So there's the regular Kind bars, like just like the fruit nut chocolate ones. And then there's also a newer kind, which is the Kind Max Protein, I think is what they're called. I've actually been leaning more towards the Kind Max Protein because they're bigger, they're more filling, and they have a lot of fiber, a lot of protein, and carbs and fats. So I find when I'm traveling, making sure I'm getting enough fiber is big, because at least for us, like we're eating out more. Like I enjoy trying new restaurants and stuff like that. Like I'm not as worried about those foundations as, much as when I'm cooking at home and I'm just naturally cooking more fibrous foods. So making sure that I'm getting enough fiber. So the Kind Max Protein, I really, really like. Those are great. I also like Lar bars. They're smaller, but those are also bars. Like we'll talk about this in a little bit, but if I am doing any type of workout or something on vacation, which I would say is maybe 25% of the time, I usually don't work out as much on vacation, but a lot of times I'll have like half of one of those before like I do workout, because I never work out on an empty stomach. Like, no, I used to do that. It completely tanked my hormones and spiked my cortisol. Or they're just like lighter. If you're like, okay, like I have an hour till we're gonna eat, I need something. So my go-to are bars. I used to pack a lot more creative snacks like fruit and trail mix and stuff, but like nowadays I just keep it super simple and pack myself a couple different bars. So other snack ideas you could consider though are trail mix, and the Chomp like jerky bars or sticks or whatever variety you want. Those are also really good. And then depending on flight timing, you could also pack like a sandwich and a fruit, like lunch. I am not above, I've done this multiple times. People always ask like, oh, you can get that through security. Like I've never had an issue with it. I haven't done this internationally. So that's an important thing to note. What I'm talking about today is tried and true for within the United States. But I have packed like a sandwich because honestly, it's like, especially at the Columbus airport where I live and I fly out of, it's like there aren't very many good food options. So I just personally prefer to pack my own food, because I don't want to pay a bunch of money for something if I'm not even going to like it. And two, it just kind of helps I know I'm going to be eating out more. So in the grand scheme of balance, it's like I would rather have like a filling, healthy meal balance before like going out to dinner and drinking and having fun the rest of the trip. So you can totally pack a sandwich. I've done like a turkey and cheese sandwich with like avocado and lettuce and stuff like that, and like sliced up apples that Jared and I have shared. Like I've done that and I've eaten that on the plane. I've eaten that while waiting for the plane. Typically, that's what I'll do just because that's like easy and less awkward. I'll share a fun story. So, when I was younger, like I said, just used to be a lot more, I don't want to say bold, but I mean, in this example, yes, bold, but also like just I wanted variety and I wanted something like really healthy. Like I was almost like too healthy back in the day. But there was one time where I've packed a salad that I ate. It went through security. I packed a salad in Tupperware, and then I just like rinsed out the Tupperware when I got to my destination. And I also packed a salmon burger, which I actually ate on the plane. And looking back, I'm just like, wow, I would have hated myself. But I did that because I was like, oh, like I have a frozen salmon burger from Costco. Like I'm gonna heat that up and like take that with me on the plane. So I you can totally judge me on that one, especially. But yes, I have been the queen of like packing things, and a lot of things go through security like that. So don't be afraid to pack foods if you feel a little bit scared about those, like the sandwich or whatever, bars, trail mix, jerky sticks, stuff like that. You can also do, I've done perfect bars if you know that you are going to have like a refrigerator when you land, because it says on the package, but I think those can last 3 days unrefrigerated. So that's also something you could do as well. Okay, so that's food. The next thing I want to talk about is minerals. So minerals are so important for hydration. They're important for bowel movements when you're traveling. They're important for energy, sleep, literally everything. And so I have two brands that I like in terms of balance. I am not a big fan of Element. It's okay. Let me say that. It's okay and I like the taste of it, but in terms of ratios, it doesn't have a whole food form of vitamin C, and it's just heavy on the salt and pretty low in magnesium and potassium. And salt is really important, but I find that when you're traveling, you're getting more salt just by eating out more. So I don't want you to like avoid it, but I just like more balanced ones that have more potassium, more magnesium, and also a whole food form of vitamin C, which is an antioxidant. So the brands that I really like are Rayvi. I've talked about Rayvi before. Love, love, love their adrenal mocktails specifically. It's a really good balance of sodium, potassium, magnesium, and whole food vitamin C from Osarilla cherry powder. And then it also has some calming elements in it, like chamomile and L-theanine. So I don't know if you're like me, but I don't know. I'm like a homebody nowadays. So I just get like a little jittery when I travel, just, like gotta make my flight or like gotta get there on time and then like gotta get an Uber. Like there's just a lot. And then, if you're traveling with people, like there's just a lot of personalities and stuff like that. So it can just like bring up some nerves and excitement and all of that. So I really appreciate that about the Rayvi, and it tastes so damn good. It's just so good. It's like a pink lemonade flavor, but it's not overly sweet. So that's my preference. The only downside with that is it doesn't come in like single packets. It comes in like one big packet. So, I mean, I don't mind that. I just take the pack with me in my backpack and like, just put it in my water or whatever. But if you want single serving packets, I have not personally tried this brand yet. I was actually planning on doing it for this upcoming trip, but I do auto subscription for the Rayvi, and it like just a new bottle just came in. I was like, I just love it. But I have clients who have done minerals and chill. So minerals and chill, they come in a couple different flavors. I was going to get the lemon lime flavor. That sounds really good. I'm gonna eventually try it. But that's a really similar composition to the Rayvi, where it has a good balance of sodium, potassium, magnesium, and the whole food vitamin C. I don't believe it has those calming agents in it, but it does come in the single serve packets, which is super good for like grab and go, portion size, etc. The Rayvi does come with a little scoop too, so you can portion it that way. But if you're looking for something that you can like just little servings, then the minerals and chill might be a better fit. Or you could do a combination of those things, honestly. So I'm going to be bringing the Rayvi. Sometimes I will bring collagen. I purchased some of this from Fullscript, which there's the link in the if you want to get a discount on my favorite supplements and the highest quality, Fullscript is the way to go, and you get a 15% discount. So the link is in my my shop as well. So I buy it through there. You can get the the full the Vital Proteins collagen unflavored. You can get the big bottle or big container of that. Or I did buy some single serving packages of it, which is actually quite a bit per pack. So I've also played around with doing that just to get enough protein in. So that's also something you can add it to your mineral drinks. You can add it to your coffee when you're traveling. Super easy. The next thing on my list is my travel yoga mat. So honestly, I take this with me pretty much everywhere I go because if I want to work out, I like using my own yoga mat because gym yoga mats are just germy. So I bring my own. I mean, I have used gym ones before, but especially if I'm doing yoga, I want my own yoga mat because my face is down there, my hands, all that kind of stuff. And I get one that is foldable. So I was looking on Amazon for the one that I purchased. I mean, it's been years and years ago. I've gotten my use out of it. They don't have the brand that I have, but I mean, it was a cheap one. There's tons like it. So I linked a couple options in there as well. But I love the travel yoga mat because while I don't work out as much on vacation, I used to be really rigid about that. I'm not so much anymore because a lot of times we're just more active, walking around, exploring, doing things. But because of that, and just because of traveling, I do find that my body I need to stretch it. I need to stretch it. I hate feeling tight. I hate feeling sore. And so the travel yoga mat is perfect because I can either do a body weight workout on it, or I can do a yoga flow anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes. And that is super nice. So sometimes I'll do in the morning, especially because I still wake up pretty early, just naturally. So oftentimes before the day gets going, I'll have a Lara bar just to hold me over. I'll do a quick yoga flow or some stretching or a body weight workout or whatever. And then I'm good to go for the day. And it just makes me feel better. It's less about it's not about burning calories or, keeping up my muscle mass or whatever, because that doesn't matter on vacation. You're not going to lose muscle from taking a week off or 2 weeks off. It's really about feeling good. And like I said, I hate feeling tight. I hate feeling sore. And sometimes I just like to move my body in a way that feels good, that's not intense on vacation, especially if we're going to be, active and doing things. So I love my travel yoga mat. I almost always take that, even if it's a weekend up in Cleveland or, visiting my parents. I will usually bring that with me. And it folds up so you can easily pack it. Sometimes I'll bring exercise bands. I used to do this more, like I said, but I just find my body craves just natural movement and taking some time off and just doing more yoga for stress support too. And then supplements. So this is where you can kind of pick and choose. And if you're a client of mine, I can help you with this to figure out the hierarchy based on what protocols we're going through and all that kind of stuff. So for this trip, I know that I'm going to be taking my beef liver, my vitamin E, and my probiotic. My probiotic that I'm taking at the moment is unrefrigerated, but I'm going to be skipping my magnesium because the Rayvi has some magnesium in it, my digestive enzyme because realistically, I'm going to be out and about eating out, and I'm not going to be remembering to take that. And my digestive enzyme is more, I don't have severe indigestion or stomach issues or anything like that. It's more for my last GI map. There is some digestion issues with fat particularly, but a week off of that isn't going to, slow my progress or anything like that. I also won't be taking my bitters. So a lot of my clients are on bitters as well. This is to help with stomach acid production. And this is a preference for me because, again, I don't have a lot of digestive issues. It's more of I just know from my testing that that's something I need from long-term H. pylori. But if it's someone like you where you do have more of a sensitive stomach, that might be something worth taking your enzymes or taking your bitters with you. So it just kind of depends on the person. But for me, I'm not going to be taking those on this trip. I'm going to keep it super simple. And then I'm also not going to be taking my iodine because I take drops of iodine. And I just don't want to travel with like a dropper. It's red. I don't want it spilling places. And again, a week off isn't going to matter. If you're on different types of powders, and again, this is like I'm speaking more to my clients with this one, but if you're on, let's say, Ovasitol for insulin balance and blood sugar regulation, that is one I would recommend taking with you because that is so important for traveling, especially because we know with like time changes, travel in general, erratic eating times, different eating times, like maybe longer times between meals, less balanced meals, like that is going to be a really supportive tool for blood sugar, which in turn helps with periods, helps with acne, skin, inflammation, nervous system, mood, all that kind of stuff. So that is one that I would recommend packing. And what you can do, what I've had clients do before, is mix that in with their mineral mocktail. So kind of like put it in the original container. So for example, if you're doing Rayvi, like maybe dump the Rayvi out into like a Tupperware container at home, and then scoop out like, okay, if I'm having 2 mineral mocktails per day, I'm going to be gone for 5 days, do like 10 scoops of that. And then also scoop out how much Ovasitol you're going to be having that week. So if I'm doing 2 scoops of Ovasitol per day, mix that 10 scoops of Rayvi with 10 scoops of Ovasitol, and then mix it up. So and put the scoop back in there, and then put that in the original container. So don't travel with like just a plastic bag of white powder. I would not recommend doing that for obvious reasons, especially not internationally. But if you put it in the regular container and it's opened, you shouldn't have any issues, or at least speaking for myself, I've not had any issues. And I've done this many times. So sticking with your supplements is important, but also just being mindful depending on what protocols you're going through. If you are going through protocols, like what's highest up on the totem pole, and remembering you don't have to be perfect with things, okay? The next thing is my filtered water bottle. I've talked about this before, but I love, 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 love my clearly filtered water bottle to filter out fluoride specifically and other contaminants in water. So I am very sensitive to halogens, and I have really bad reactions. Like my skin reacts really bad to fluoride and bromine. And those things are everywhere, especially in the water. So just to be safe, I always travel with my clearly filtered water bottle. I learned my lesson several months ago when I did not on the cruise and my skin broke out so bad. The only thing with this is that you can't mix your minerals into it. So if you are traveling with your minerals, depending on your sensitivity, since I'm very sensitive, I am only going to be mixing my minerals with bottled water. If you might not be as sensitive as me, where you can mix it when you go out to eat, you can mix it with like the water they give you if it's fluoridated. I just know for me that will cause breakouts for me, unfortunately. So I will just be really mindful of like mixing my bottled water with the minerals. You can't do it in the clearly filtered because obviously it has a built-in filter, so it is going to filter out those minerals. You're not going to be getting them. But the filtered water bottle is awesome, and it will save you so much money. And also, like from an environmental standpoint, plastic, I hate like wasting so many water bottles. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do for your health. And I just try and recycle them as much as I can. So that's really awesome. I'll link that. And I also use that when I go to restaurants because I am so sensitive. Like we're going out tonight for some drinks with some friends, and I'm going to be taking my water bottle. I took my water bottle to a wedding with me recently. It feels kind of weird, but for me, it's worth it. If my skin doesn't erupt in like painful breakouts because of the fluoride. But again, you may not be as sensitive as me, so you can kind of like just experiment with that. And then the last random one that I added right before hopping on that I was like, I'm just going to add this, is acne-safe lip balm or like lip stuff. I have spent so much money on like expensive ones because I always thought that for it to be acne safe, it needed to be like a fancy expensive one, but it actually doesn't. So I found one by is it by Vaseline? I don't know. I think it is, but it's just petroleum, right? Is that what it is? White petroleum jelly? I don't know. But that's all it is. And that's actually acne safe. So you get like a lot of like free lip balms and stuff from like different events and like whatever people give those out. And so I would always just like use those. And again, my skin is just really sensitive and I am more acne prone. And so I realized I can't do that. So I have to be really intentional about like the lip balm that I'm doing. So this one's super cheap. You can get it at like CVS, Walmart, Walgreens, whatever, Amazon, and it's like $2 for one versus the expensive ones I was investing in were like $20. And I'm like, why was I paying $20 for like a lip balm? Doesn't make sense. So wanted to put that in there because if you're like me and you hate having chapped lips, I hate being sore and I hate having chapped lips and I hate being hungry. I hate feeling bad. I want to feel good. And so that's the purpose of this whole thing. Then the Acne Safe Lip Balm is awesome. Okay, so that is my roundup for today. Hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully you can take this, as you're prepping for your next trip, vacation. This is applicable for a weekend vacation. This is applicable for a 2-week vacation. I will be doing these same things when we go on our honeymoon next year. We don't know where we're going yet. We're thinking about Greece, TBD. But these are all things that I've been tried and true that I really like that are, again, moderation and not stressful, not hard, easy things to pack. So hopefully this was helpful. And until next time, stay nourished, friends.